Today, I want to talk about grief, because most of us have experienced it in one way or another. Grief is usually related to the death of a loved one, but actually grief is about loss, and loss can come in many ways. Actually, in my practice, I've seen people mourning for many different reasons, such as relationship breakdowns, the death of a pet, or even the loss of a job. In this video, I'm going to explain some of the phases that oftentimes mourners have reported. But it's important to take into account that grieving is like a journey that has no timeline and it's not linear, which means that sometimes we can go back and forth between stages, and sometimes we don't even experience all the phases. Every experience is as unique as the person who is experiencing it. Having said this, the first stage of grief is usually denial. In this phase, you can experience a deep sense of disbelief about the loss. People often say things as, "This is not true," or "This can be happening." Rituals around death help us to be in contact with the reality of the loss. So getting involved with the funeral rituals as much as possible help a lot to go through the denial phase. Anger is another phase, and it is an absolutely normal response. Anger can be targeted to friends, doctors, to the deceased person, or even to God. It is important to recognize and process your anger with people that make you feel safe and don't make you feel judged or inadequate for your feelings. Another stage is bargaining and dialogue. In this phase is when we want our life to return as it was. Here, people can say things as, "What if I encouraged him to go to the doctor before?" or "Only if I could have left the house 5 minutes earlier," and so on. In this stage, there is a strong need to talk about the loss in an attempt to find meaning to what have happened. It is important to honor your need to communicate, so don't hesitate to talk or even write about your feelings as much as you need. The fourth phase is being called depression. So here it's important to remark that it is not clinical depression or a sign of mental illness, but a normal reaction to loss. You can experience feelings of deep sadness, emptiness, and a sense of lack of meaning. Allow yourself time to cry and feel the sadness mindfully, because as soon as depression has served its purpose in the journey, it will decrease. It won't be so painful. And finally, we get to acceptance. In this phase, we recognize the loss, that the loss is permanent, and we learn to live with it. We have to create symbolic ways to connect with the person that has gone. In this phase, again, rituals are very helpful. People tend to find useful things as visiting the gravesite or wearing a black ribbon in the anniversary of death and things like that. You can even create your own rituals to feel connected with your loss. As you can see, grieving entails many intense emotions. It is an extremely complicated and tiring process, so it's very important to take care of yourself so you can have the strength to go through this journey. Be compassionate and respectful with yourself. If you feel stuck, that your emotions are not evolving and your symptoms are not improving at all, don't hesitate to get some support from a mental health practitioner.